Well, I'm going to be honest, YouTube. I've heard and seen a lot of sports stories. Not everything, but more than most. More than you could even imagine. But I've yet to hear of something like this, what actually happened to the Las Vegas Golden Knights yesterday as part of their road trip to San Jose. They got kicked out of their hotel just hours before game time, first of two games back-to-back at SAP Center. I'll go straight to the article where I saw and heard of this first, reporting from the Las Vegas Sun by Justin Emerson, who was speaking with the Golden Knights coaching staff and players today. I guess they didn't say much about this yesterday because it was so much up in the air. But the backstory is this. They were staying at the Fairmont Hotel in San Jose, like a lot of visiting NHL teams do. And right after their pregame meal, it was, hey guys, go back to your room, grab your bags, pack them up. We're not staying here again tonight. Now, I've heard of teams getting kicked out of a hotel or evacuated from a hotel, a natural disaster, a building issue, they didn't like the place, or they were simply asked to leave. I've heard of all those things before, and they do happen. I mean, so many teams, so many road trips, so many hotels, it's bound to happen once or twice. But I've never heard of this where the hotel filed for bankruptcy and shut down on the spot, as in nobody's even staying here tonight. You have to go. So no wonder why they might have been a little on edge during last night's game. They might have had some bad feelings because they had to act quickly. So yeah, having their pregame meal, had to pack up, didn't know where they were going to spend last night. To be honest, I'm not quite sure where they went on a moment's notice. But I'll read you some quotes here from the Las Vegas Sun. Defenseman Nick Holden said, "That's a first for probably everybody on our team." Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. Former Sharks coach Pete DeBoer, now bench boss of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. It was a surreal experience. Hopefully this is the end of the COVID year, but it was almost the topping on the cake for what the last year has been for everybody in the world. And he makes a great point there. Just another thing thrown at you, another thing to deal with, right? And this is not the end of the world. Let's be honest. They're going from one 5-star hotel to another. But how did this get to this point? How did reservations get made and a team checks in, literally 24 hours before? And nobody had any forewarning about this? It is kind of crazy. Now, I also want to hit pause here for just a second and say this. We're making light of this situation, and apparently the Fairmont is planning to be shut down for 60 to 90 days as they go through bankruptcy. But I also want to send, my thoughts and best wishes for anybody personally affected by losing a job, even if it's only temporary, losing paychecks for weeks or months or whatever. I understand that a lot of people watching this may know somebody who worked at the Fairmont and is now kind of left in the dust instantly. So I do feel bad, and I do want to say that during these times, this is an interesting matter, I suppose, because what team it is, and literally the team that the Sharks have the biggest angst with and rivalry against right now. It is funny in that sense. I mean, nobody's getting hurt over this. It's not a big deal. Pack your bags, go, move somewhere else. It's funny enough. It's innocent enough, but totally separately, I feel bad for, like I said, anybody who's directly impacted by this. DeBoer went on to say, now, I'm not putting this in the same breath as dealing with COVID, but it was just one of those things. We got thrown at us. We dealt with it, found a way to get off to a good start and good resiliency by his group. Last night, he's talking about in the game, yeah, they went up 3-0, and in fact, 4-2 even at one point before the Sharks tied it at 4, sent it to overtime, eventually lost 5-4 in overtime. And yeah, this is crazy that a hotel like the Fairmont, which so many NHL teams stay at, it used to be dominant. It used to be that everybody would stay there. It was the place to go and stay, and a lot still did, obviously Las Vegas included. And I am curious about what other teams now are going to have to instantly change their plans because they had reservations. But really, like I said, nobody had a heads up that this was going to be the case. I feel bad for whoever is in Las Vegas is traveling party that they had to quickly rearrange, get the group back. But yeah, this is nuts. And the other good place to stay that a lot of teams do, I don't think I'm giving anything away here. It's very common and public knowledge, is that a lot of teams stay at Santana Row, which is obviously farther away from the building and the rink, but maybe more instant amenities. Although, in this time and age of COVID-19, I don't know how much of that is even available, allowed, or any of it makes sense. You know, these players on the road trips, they are very much confined to their hotel rooms, and they're having to be extra responsible to make sure that this league can keep playing games. So yeah, that does it. St. Louis coming to town, as the article points out here in the Las Vegas Sun. I guarantee you we all know where they will not be staying. That would be the Fairmont, which, by the way, the Mercury News of San Jose reporting that the owners of the hotel had debts between $100 and $500 million. So there you go. Interesting story. I guess maybe the title of it a bit misleading. Las Vegas getting kicked out of their hotel. Yes, they did. Wasn't their fault. Although, like I said, from a rivalry standpoint, from an entertainment value standpoint of storylines of this series, you couldn't make this one up even if you tried. All right? We'll see you on television tonight for Game 2 of this series on NBC Sports California.